Hi everybody, welcome to the dungeon. My name is Robin and today is Flameworking 102.20. Today I wanted to share a fun folded marble technique with you all, and this is a great technique for those of you who are looking to get off Mandrel and do more marble making techniques. Also, this is great for learning how to do more heat control with your glass and learning how to stretch and twist and manipulate the glass and fold it into this great design. So without further ado, let's get right into it. As always, I hope you're all doing safe and well out there. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time in the dungeon. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start things out by heating up my base color, and I'm going to use white today. I have a lot of white on hand, plus because I'm using transparent colors, they'll show up really nice on top of this white. So either way, I'm going to just start getting a nice big gather hot. And while I'm getting this gather hot, I will also be just heating up a bit of my punty rod. And I'm using a kind of a heavy punty rod this time, and it will help me to maintain like control of the glass because it's not too thin, but it also will help with the weight of this marble. So that's why I'm using, it's like I think it's a 1/4 inch punty here. And I'm going to apply my gather right to the end of the punty. Make sure your punty doesn't go in too deep. That's really important. So once you have that punty with the glass on the punty, go ahead and cast off your glass. And then what I want to do is shape this up real nice so we can add the color on top. And I'm just going to use my marble mold and get it into kind of a football shape. This is always a great shape to start out with. All right, now we're going to start applying and swiping our colors on here. Today I have 6 different shades of blue. I have 3 opaques and 3 transparents, and I'm just going to apply them by swiping from the top to the bottom on opposite sides, and I want to double up each swipe of color. So I'm actually adding 4 swipes of color each time. And that will help to make this marble a little bit bigger and to get those transparent colors to really show up really nice. And after each swipe, I do go down to the torch head and just kind of press down that glass that's close to the punty just a little bit. And I'm just going to continue adding my colors by swiping, and I do overlap a little bit, especially with these transparent colors. When you overlap them a little bit onto the previous color, they will produce a 3rd color. So you'll have just a rainbow of blues here, or whatever colors you choose. Okay, so I have my final color here, and the colors are, I do have them written down below my description. So if you are interested in seeing what colors I have here, you can go check them out. Of course, this is perfect for any colors, all your favorite colors, or any new color theories that you want to try out. All right, a couple more swipes here, and we are just about done. All right, and the first thing I want to do is to make sure that all of my colors are going to a single point at the top. And if you see me do a lot of demos where I'm pulling cane and stuff like that, I do this a lot. I'll pinch and pull the tip out. And for something like this, it's really important because you want it to look nice and finished in the end. So to do this, I'll pinch one way and then I'll pinch another way. And then I will go ahead and pull and pull that little bit of glass off. And the action of that little cross pinch will help to bring all of your colors together into a single point. All right, so before I move on, I'll just kind of melt things down a little bit here, but I do want to add my Dichro strips as well. And these Dichro strips just came from the Dichro Strip variety pack that I got from France Art Class. And I just grabbed 2 kind of silvery blue pieces out of it. And When you add your Dichro, you always want to make sure that you are only heating up the clear side and not the Dichro side. So we are adding it Dichro side down. And as soon as I've added it, I will heat and press that clear glass and hope to get it over that Dichro side. I didn't do it perfectly, but we'll fix that in a minute here. Let's go ahead and do the other side. And it does take several minutes to get that Dichro on there. It doesn't just melt quickly like that. I do have things sped up here, just so you know. And I'm just going to flatten that side down a little bit as well. And before things get too hot, I don't want to burn off any Dichro that is exposed. So I'm immediately going to go ahead and start encasing everything in clear. And I'll start by encasing the Dichro sides first, and then I'll fill in the rest. But, you know, it's important that I cover up any Dichro that might have slipped up to the surface. I don't want it to burn off, so it's really important that we cover that up as soon as we can. All right, we're almost done with this encasement. As always, we are overlapping every time we do a swipe, trying to make our swipes nice and even all the way around. Okay, now as soon as this is finished, I do want to clean up the punty side. So I'm heating everything up down there, and I'm just going to take a little bit of time to pull that clear glass down over the punty. And anything that's stuck to the punty will come off, so it doesn't have to look beautiful down there. Don't worry, it'll be okay. All right, so now I just want to start heating everything up, and I do want to pull that Dichro to the tip as well. So I'm going to go back and heat that tip up and make sure that my Dichro is all the way running to the very tip of the marble. All right, that looks good. So now what I want to do is I want to do my twist and fold. So this will be our first fold. And I'm going to attach a thinner punty, because this is only a quick temporary punty to the pointed side. Now what I want to do is start heating the whole marble up, and you want to make sure that you're not just spending all your time heating in the center. You want to heat the whole thing up, so you're heating kind of like I like to heat the sides up instead of the center, and that tends to help me get a more even heat throughout. And once things start to kind of pull out nice and evenly, give it a bit of a stretch and a twist, and immediately fold it back onto itself. Then you're going to go right down into the flame and take out that punty that you just added. And that's why you only want to just barely touch the end of the marble to the punty, because you're going to take it out immediately when you're done with the folding. So now what I want to do is just kind of, I'm adding like a neckline here, just kind of a line to separate what's going to come off the punty from what's going to stay on to the marble. And now we want to get ready for our second fold. So I'm going to heat everything up again and kind of roll it out a little bit to kind of smooth everything down here and make it a little bit more of an even shape. And then I will just barely touch it with the punty. And the same thing, I'm wanting to heat everything up, but definitely heating my sides up more than the center, because the center will heat up either way. And then I will go ahead and give it a nice couple inches of a stretch, so I can then fold it down onto itself one more time. And then I'll immediately take that punty out, and that is our design. That's it. We're done. So hopefully you can play around and practice with that. Right now I'm just squeezing it a little bit with my mini mashers to get any air that is in there to just push out. And then from here, we're just rounding things out and making our marble. But before I do that, I do want to just kind of lift up a little bit of that color from the bottom to make sure that that stays on the marble side and doesn't come off on the punty end. And you're also kind of pushing that punty back on center as well. All right, so now it's just a lot of heating and shaping. And where I folded the glass, there are some indentations there that you really want to make sure are melted and rounded out so you don't have any of those divots in the end. So it does take a little bit of time to make that happen, but you know, just do your best to continue rolling and heating until everything, all the glass is on the surface, an even surface. You know, using the marble mold doesn't have to be hard. I'm being very gentle when the glass is hot, and there are times when you feel the glass starting to cool down and you can add a little bit more pressure. I do have several other videos where I am making marbles where I explain how to use the marble mold a little bit better. But I will say this 1 1/4 inch marble mold is my favorite. I use it all the time. My marble right here looks like it's ready to go, so I want to do a punty on it to get that original punty out. I want to clean everything up before we do our final punty. So I'm just going to heat my marble up, and you know, the action of heating something in the round will round it out even more. And here I just want to cool down that outer shell. So when I attach my punty, it just touches the surface of the glass. I'm not pushing in too deep at all. Okay, so now we're ready to take off our main punty, the one we started out with. And it does take a little bit of time to heat that punty up and to very gently pull it out of the marble. You want to make sure that you're pulling out all of that kind of trash color that you put onto the mandrel or the punty. And now this is the time that you can do a final pinch and pull. So if anything that was undesirable is left on the marble, you can take it off right here. And now at this point, we're working in hemispheres, like I'm working on the top hemisphere or the bottom hemisphere. I'm working on the side that the punty is not on. So I'm just going to heat that 1/2 and roll it out into the marble mold. Now, if I'm really worried about the perfection of the round, I will go into a smaller marble mold like I have here, and that can really help to further just perfect the roundness of it, is by going into a larger mold and then popping it into and rounding it into these smaller areas. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now that we have a nice rounded marble, I'm ready to do our final punty. So the final punty is always in glass, and I will just add it to a hard marble. The soft glass goes to the hard glass. And you don't ever want to reheat that punty again until you're ready to take it off. So I'm just going to finish up by rounding and smoothing that top out, and we will be done with this marble. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. You know, there's so many variations on this. You don't have to add the clear coat on top. You could add as much color as you want, as many colors as you want. You know, this is really all about, you know, kind of learning how to maintain the proper heat in your glass and to twist it and fold it into a fun design like this. So on that note, I hope you all enjoy this. I'm just gonna give this punty a little bit of a heat here, the punty mark, until it rounds out. And then I will cool it down just by blowing on it before I put it in my annealer so it doesn't grab any dust. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this one, and we will see you next time in the dungeon.